Innovation, imagination, wonder. These are just some of the words used to describe Dr. Harvey Passes. Dr. Passes explores interesting people and ideas that will stimulate you. He questions the people who develop, create, and employ novel concepts in business and everyday lives. He especially loves to speak with successful people. How did they do it? How can you do it too? So let's join Dr. Harvey Passes in his quest of wonder and curiosity as we watch Dr. Harvey Passes Presents.
So, horror of horrors, you discovered that you have been fired. That's right, you've been let go. You don't have a job. My God, what am I going to do? I've been working for this company for 25 years. How am I going to get another job? What am I going to do? Oh, my gosh. And worst of all, I've got to write a resume. I've got to write a bio about me. I've got to make it look good. I can't do this. I haven't done this for years. Oh, my God. I'm getting a headache thinking about this. It's probably what I'd be thinking the same thing. If you needed to have some skilled writing for something like a resume, or anything else. I'm not talking about having someone take a test for you if you're in school. But if you're talking about needing some writing done to help you look good and to help you secure a job, who are you going to go to? Well, I have two very interesting people here today. And this is what they do. They write for you. You can almost say that they're your silent partner. And you'll see why when you meet these interesting people. They're wonderful, fun people. And, well, without further ado, because I'll just keep waxing poetic here. And did you like that opening, by the way?
Wonderful.
Was that great?
It was good. Who wrote it?
I just thought... You're fired. Okay. The person I'm trading quips with here is Loria Parker. Loria, great to see you again.
You too.
And I'm happy that you took the time from your busy schedule to come down here, the both of you. Leah Scotto Laub.
Correct.
Will your husband be happy?
Yes, he will be.
Okay. Leah,
Pleasure.
thank you. Wonderful for you to come down as well. And I know you ladies are very busy helping people move on in life with what you do. And you're one of these behind-the-scenes kind of people, actually. You don't even get credit. You don't get kudos. All right, so let's give you some kudos right now. Loria Parker. She was born Catherine Jacoby. She's not going to tell me why yet. She gave up the name Catherine, but Jacoby, we'll find out that in a moment. But she is the daughter of Emmy Award-winning TV comedy writer Coleman Jacoby, who some of you might remember was one of the writers for don't say it, for the Bilko show.
That's right.
That's right, Phil Silvers.
That's
and
right.
Sergeant Bilko.
Yep.
This goes back a number of years, and he's written other things as well,
Yes.
obviously. But he was involved in the golden age.
That's
I call
right.
this the golden age
Yeah.
of television those days. Sid Caesar, Bilko,
Jackie Gleason.
and we can just go on and on. Milton Berle.
Yes.
Those are the days. I mean, just
Yeah.
amazing. So he was right there
Yes, he
in
was.
the heart of it all.
Yes.
You say hi to your dad.
I will.
I would
sure
love
will.
to have him on TV here. So you're a graduate of New York's High School of Performing Arts.
Yep.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
And was a theater major at the Carnegie Mellon University.
Yep.
And then you performed leading roles in musical theater regionally, and you portrayed Fanny Brice in the TV movie Ziegfeld, The Man and His Women. Wow, I remember that. That was good. I didn't know you did that. I got to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
That's good. I want your autograph. Okay, and you also, which is interesting when I found this out about you, that you write reviews for off-Broadway shows.
I do.
That's terrific. I do. I remember that show.
Yes.
Okay, and now you're a writing consultant,
Yes,
okay, with this lovely, lovely young lady as well,
I am.
right? Leah Scotto Laub, this is your life. No, okay. All right, so Leah, she's the president and owner of Quantum Career Services in Jericho, which was established in '96. And the two of you work together in being people's silent partner. Boy, oh boy, this is amazing. For over 18 years, you've composed more than 7,000 resumes for one client.
Now it's over 8,000.
Eight? Is it really
Yes.
8,000? So why'd you give me this thing? Okay, so 8,000 resumes. Probably did that over the weekend, the other 1,000. You did 8,000 resumes, bios, marketing letters, website content material, cover letters, and personal statements. You know, this is such an important profession for you to be in because so many people need this. As I gave in my opening, you know, you're fired, you need a job, a change in life, something happened, whatever. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Most people, as they get older, are going to sit down and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and you've done a lot of volunteer work. I mean, you can go into all this stuff with you, but forget about all that. You've done a lot of great things and helped out a lot of people. Let's get down to the show here. You also have a monthly column for LongIslandWomen.com, which is very interesting, and spotlighting Long Island businesswomen who make a difference, which you do, which is wonderful. Okay, now, first, your silent partner. What is this? What is your silent partner?
Well, your silent partner really kind of sprang out of the fact that people need to write, and they can't do it themselves. So we silently go about helping them with their writing, and we become kind of like their behind-the-scenes person, and we help move individuals and companies forward with their writing.
How did you get started in writing? I mean, people watching the show right now, I know you're asking this question, so I'm going to ask it for you. Credentials. Does one need credentials, or you've just been doing this as writers for years, that you're just good at it? I mean, you tell someone, I'll write for you. I mean, how did you come up with doing
it's different
this?
for
How'd you
both
get
of us.
started?
Well,
Explain, how'd you get started doing
I
this?
started as a kid. I wrote poetry, and then I wrote songs, and I wrote special material for even Sergio Franchi
Years
years
ago.
ago.
Sergio
Yeah,
Franchi.
yeah. And
Oh.
then I performed for many years, and then I started writing about the theater. And then Leah and I decided to form a business together where we could kind of collaborate our corporate writing and sort of creative writing and make it into something that helps people.
And Loria has a tremendous vocabulary also that helps with our
Some
writing.
of it we can't say on TV.
Well, I know people
Yeah.
who you have written for, and people in our organization,
Yeah.
and they have nothing but high praise for the way you've taken the written word or the written paragraphs and made it more succinct, made it more understandable, and made it flow. This is truly a very high art form. So I think this is wonderful that you can do this.
I think we capture the essence of people and what their mission is, and that's really part of it. We really we delve into people's lives and what makes them who they are.
So hold on a second. So I ask you to help me out. I have a website, and I want you to help me out. And on that website, it's going to be bio, it's going to be what I do, and other things involved in my practice. Make believe we're sitting down now at the table, around my kitchen table, okay? And we talk. Watch out, that is where you probably do it with a lot of people. You sit around the kitchen table. And how do you go about doing this? How do you delve? What do you do? What are the questions you ask so that you, in turn, can write? Am I correct? Is this what you do?
Well, I think yeah, of course, you have to learn about the person or the product or the mission or whatever it is that they really have in mind to do, whether it's a personal statement or a resume that Leah is really the master at. Or if we're doing a website, then we have to understand what it is, what the business is. And it's been an education for us in many regards.
Yes.
We've learned about things we didn't even know existed in order to sensibly write about them. But getting back to what you asked about people, I think we have to capture the persona of the person, especially if we're writing a personal statement or a bio, that it has to sound like it came out of them. So we kind of have to listen for the voice of the person and then write in a way like or as they would write.
Did you ever see Star Trek when you were younger?
Of course.
Okay, do you remember the Vulcan mind meld? And that Spock would take his hand and hold it up next to the head, and he would also become that person. So you have to almost do the Vulcan mind meld, where all of a sudden you become a part of this person, so that when you write, you're writing as if you're them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm starting to get from you.
And it's their path. We all have a different path.
That's true.
So we find out without judging what their path is and what ignites them.
How long have you been in business doing this?
How
long have you been doing?
Well, Leah,
you did resumes before the two of you hooked up.
Yes.
So how long have you been doing it? 18 years, 19 years?
This is my 20th year.
20th year.
Yes, of doing resumes, and
Wow.
I've been writing bios and personal statements probably for about 15 years.
And yourself?
And I joined the company about 2 years ago, and kind of taking the creative things that I do and melding them with what she does.
So you'll function more for the bio people person stuff. This is my guesstimate here. You will be bringing in more of the outside source of embellishing the person and finding all those traits about the person that you could write about, whereas you're getting more into the meat of who the person is.
Well,
And then
we
you're
feed
coloring
off
it.
of each other. We're both.
Do you ever write together for the
Yes.
same?
Oh, all the time.
Yes, we do.
All the
We
time.
collaborate. And,
I usually type.
We collaborate, and Loria has ideas, as she's creating, and I'm bouncing things off of her, and we work together as a team, and it works for us. We're like Laurel and Hardy.
We have a lot of fun. We do. And it's interesting because people are the actors in their own lives. This is what we were talking about.
Right.
Why do I like
I like
writing
that
about
line.
people? Yeah, well, they
People
are.
the actors in their own
Lives,
plays,
in their own life
yeah.
plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whether you're writing about, or I'm writing about a play that I see, it's not all that different from writing about somebody's life. I mean,
Right.
particularly in a bio
Right.
or in a personal statement where, like for graduate school. That's what always comes to my
Yeah,
mind.
yeah.
Can I tell that story?
Sure, if you
As long
want.
as it's not dirty.
No, it's a great. No, I can't mention names. But it was kind of a turnaround moment for me. We had a client, a longtime client of Leah's, who had gone through college on a football scholarship and really wanted to go pro. He didn't make pro, but what happened was he became friends with all the NBA and NFL hotshots.
Mhm.
And they loved him and they trusted him and they wanted him to become their Jerry Maguire.
Oh.
So we wrote a personal statement for him because he wanted to get into graduate school to become a sports management person.
Oh.
So it was interesting because...
And did he?
Well, as far as we know, he did. But I wrote, and Leah wrote with me, kind of in his voice. And it was a very different... It wasn't me writing in my voice or her in hers. It was as him. And it came
But
out, I
also
thought it came out
captured
good.
the
Yeah.
heartstrings of a young
his
man
life
who
and-
lost his father,
Yeah.
who had to prove something to himself.
You know, I hope you prove me wrong, but you're both going to kick yourselves, and me too. When I tell you what I should have asked you to bring down was writing, things that you have written,
Uh-huh.
to be of interest to read aloud. So when someone comes to you with something, and then they say, "Well, here's what I wrote. I'd like you to fix it up for me."
Mm-hmm.
And we could read that. Certainly we wouldn't put anybody's name or any way you can identify who they are. And then to read what you did. I think that would have been of interest.
Another show.
Another show. Always thinking.
Always
thinking.
another show.
Who are your clients? I don't mean names,
Yeah.
but I mean what occupation would come to you?
Well-
A principal, a garage mechanic, a meter maid, a dentist. I mean, who's going to come to you?
Well, at this moment in time on Long Island and across the country, there are a lot of people in the mortgage business
Right.
who are finding themselves in
Out of the mortgage business.
out of the mortgage
And they need a
business.
resume.
And they need a resume.
Right.
And Leah
I
has
actually,
come up with
What?
kind of a process.
well,
Tell me about it.
what I did was I created a special career transition resume for people who want to transition out of the mortgage field into another field. And by doing that, I mean where you take all their qualities and all their the things that they did that could carry over into the new occupation, and play down mortgage companies, the names and everything, without lying. You still have all the information, but I manipulate
Spin
and
it.
massage it and spin, right, exactly,
Massage
spin
it.
it, and so that when someone looks at it, they have the feeling and know what they can do without it blasting mortgage, mortgage, mortgage.
That's very smart. This is a very important thing for you to say right now.
And it's been so successful because there are actually employment agencies out there that won't see people because they see mortgage, mortgage, mortgage. And then now it's more palatable. Companies are more willing to know that they have skill sets in computers, or they can strong interpersonal skills,
Sales.
or they could sell. Exactly.
So what you're doing then is emphasizing their skills and playing down the name of where they worked, more of just that what their abilities are and how they can get the job done.
And transferable experiences.
Right.
See, this is important. Otherwise, somebody watching the show would just think, oh, it's a big deal, so they can write. There's more than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's understanding.
Yeah.
And there's a whole science behind
And
this.
the strategic application. Exactly what it is.
So your clients then could be anybody.
Well, it depends on the business. So for the writing, for the websites, it's usually companies.
Right. Big companies, now medium to small companies.
Right, all different size
People
companies.
starting companies that need a website, they need a web presence. Which is,
they're upgrading. We did a large attorney office that wanted their bios updated.
12 bios. Yeah.
And so we did that for them, and they were very happy with our services. And we really can help anyone. People that are challenged because of language barriers. We've done that where they need.
Like what? You mean
Well,
the
if
language?
If English is a second language.
Correct.
Then they need to write something for an American company,
So
and they
you'll,
need it to
work
sound
with them to sound intelligent in the language.
Right. In American
English.
English. Correct.
Right.
So fix it so that it expresses themselves as well as possible.
So the projects that you've done would be resumes, would be bios, would be
personal statements.
For example, a personal statement would be a lot of medical people I've done.
Explain.
Where young people are going to medical school and all of a sudden they have to apply for their internship in a hospital.
Right.
And it's very overwhelming. They need a resume, they need a personal statement, they have to have a bend, which is really a reason why they want to go for a particular field. For example, OBGYN or pediatrics or internal medicine. In order for them to get accepted, they have to show that passion or interest, and there's a reason why they chose it. So they have to tell a story on paper. Could be about their grandfather or their parents or
their little brother. We had a doctor who came from Africa, I believe, right?
Nigeria.
Nigeria, and was malaria or some very serious health issues that really thrust her as the older sister into the scenario to find help and to get help. I mean, really amazing stories.
I think this is very interesting because anyone listening to this, watching us right now, before we got into this a little more deeply, would think, well, big deal. And
they think we're just typing.
Yeah. No. Well, not when they're typing, but they don't understand. People should understand that your research into who the person is, what they're looking for, is backed upon a good understanding of what needs to be done in the marketplace to affect the change, whether you're changing careers, whether you're looking to get into a position at a hospital. It's all really the same thing. It just doesn't matter, and meaning it doesn't matter what the job is.
Right.
It's understanding how to show off you in the best light.
Well, from a resume standpoint, really the purpose of the resume is to get the person the interview. Once they have the interview, it's up to them.
Well, yes.
Obviously.
Well, you're not going to have them read something
I have to tell you, with the resume writing, we build self-esteem. We take a resume, we go over the person's entire background, and then we tell them how wonderful they are and what a great job that they did. And we highlight their accomplishments, and people walk out with, wow, I'm terrific. I can get a job.
Yeah.
And it really makes a tremendous difference.
This is fascinating, interesting to hear. There's so much to ask you about this. I mean, there really is a lot. Probably do need to do another show. So you're working now on people looking for positions, whether it's hospital, or whether it's jobs, or a personal statement. Come back to the personal statement. The personal statement is going to be used how?
Well,
say
that fellow was going to
Okay.
for graduate school. He had to write, what was it, 500 to 700 word.
Right. It's
Whatever.
usually one page.
Yeah, but it's got to be. They have to say what it is they've done, where they came from, why are they passionate about whatever it is that they're going to want to go to school for, whether it's a doctor or sports management. Then we did a bio, which is kind of a personal statement also,
It's a bit of,
for a woman who was applying for a very big job with a major insurance company. And English was a second language for her, so she had written all about her life and so forth and so on. We took it and we together worked it out so that it really made sense, and whoever was reading would say, this is a very qualified person who's come down this road to this point in time.
You know, you may have a child that has a challenge. Maybe for example, there was a young man who went to 3 different colleges, or even 4. He might have gone to 4 different colleges before he graduated. And now he's decided he wants to become a lawyer. Now, he has to write a personal statement and state that he attended these 4 schools.
Right.
So in order for people to accept that information, you have to create a story of how he started on his journey and how he ended up graduating, and make it compelling enough so that the people that are reviewing it are saying, wow, he had these experiences and matured and went through this journey and came out a winner and a better person for it, and he's ready for us to accept him to this program.
Somebody watching us right now could be thinking, I'm just going to play devil's advocate on the flip side. I'm just curious to see your answer. Somebody could be watching this now and say, wait a minute, this looks a little to me unethical. Because you're writing things for people that if somebody's reading it, they're assuming that person wrote it.
Well, it has to sound like that person.
It's got to sound like
Absolutely.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Well, they're not taking a test. We're not. That's right. It's not a test.
You're not taking a test.
You know, I mean, there are many people now in this country who do not speak American English. I mean,
I don't
and
either.
you know what I'm saying. I mean that really they
Right.
have a story to tell,
Right.
but they may not be able to tell it as succinctly or as articulately as Leah and I could, right?
Sure.
And it's just like, what can I say? I mean,
What have you done? What have you done for the web?
Oh, I would say that's a thrust of our business
Let me
going
hear.
forward.
Let me hear.
Well, the first thing we did was the bios, right?
Yes.
The law firm, the big law
Right.
firm, 12 bios, because their bios were very stiff and kind of not very interesting. So we did that, and they were happy with that. Then we did I'm just trying to think.
Well, we did marketing material
that's
for
right.
a company.
Very interesting company.
Yeah.
A woman who does
records tribal knowledge for other companies.
Corporations.
So in case
Records what?
tribal knowledge.
love
That's
that.
what I thought I heard you say. What does
Yes.
that mean?
Well,
Explain
when you
that,
have a
yeah.
company, let's say you have 30 plus employees and someone leaves, then they don't have the knowledge base to hire someone and retrain that person quickly.
She documents and records all of the processes and procedures in a company.
It's like having a manual.
That's right. It's like having a manual, and it's called disaster prevention
Right.
instead of disaster recovery.
Right.
Because there's an enormous amount of people, the baby boom generation, that are going to be retiring.
Right.
There's going to be a big exodus of people out of companies.
workforce.
That's right.
It's
And
happening
somebody's
now.
going to have to know, what did they do? How did they do it? What was their role in the company?
Especially someone that's been there 30, 40 years
Yeah.
or whatever, and then all of a sudden that person's gone.
Right.
So
right.
we did her promotional material and content for her website and her brochures.
That must have taken a lot of time because you would have to go down there
Well, it
to
was
understand what it is.
Well, it's a collaborative
Yeah,
effort. When we
right.
do resumes or all writing, we work with the person very closely and do information gathering and work with them, even on the personal statements, so that it is very
it's
correct.
compatible to
Yes,
who they
compatible
are.
is
It's
the
not
word.
like
That's
all of
right.
a sudden it's sounding like Shakespeare and the
Right.
person, you know what
Right,
I
you
mean?
go, duh.
That's right. No, it really is of the person, about them, but also of them.
If
really.
you're helping a high school graduate versus a medical professional
Right, or
write
PhD,
something,
right.
You're going to have to write differently.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
We're almost out of time. We got about maybe 4 minutes left. Quickly, do you design websites?
No, we don't design, although I did design our own website. It was
really?
Yeah, I did. And I mean, it's
There's 3 parts to a website.
Right.
There's the structure, and then there's the graphics, and then there's the content.
Mm-hmm.
And if you speak to people in this industry that have done it a long time, they will tell you that content is king.
I can throw up from hearing that all the time.
Right. And
True. TV is the same thing.
Because if you don't have the right content and the right information, the spiders are not going to go to your area, and those spiders are the things that go on behind the scenes and on the website, and you're not going to get the publicity that you want.
And you're not going to get the hits that you want on your site. So that search engine optimization, all of the tricks of that, we're in the process of learning more and more about that.
And it changes all the time, so you have to stay on top of things.
Exactly.
But you don't get involved with the technical aspects of the website.
We work with other people.
And do all that.
No. We did. We've chosen domain names.
Yeah, well, we help people because we do taglines and impact statements that help companies.
And help in the branding of whatever their service or company is. Mm-hmm. But we generally have what we would call strategic partnerships with designers, people who do the structure, who come up with the design and all of the technical aspects.
Many website designers do not do content. They just can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's a different field.
Right.
It's a different set of skills. We're just about out of time. We got about 2 minutes left.
Oh, wow.
Within the 2 minutes here, goes by like that, doesn't it?
No,
it
sure does.
Within the 2 minutes that's left, what tips can you give people out there who are in need of writing? They've got to write something, no matter what it is. What can you tell them?
Well, they should first write it themselves in their own voice.
Okay.
I would say get as much information down as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
What you're remembering of whatever it is that you have to write about,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you're stumped in how to put it together so that it has a beginning, a middle, and an end,
Mm-hmm.
then you really probably need to see somebody like us.
Right.
Who can kind of look at it and say, okay, let's open with this, let's put this in the middle, and here's your third act, and you're done.
Here's your third act. Right, it's fascinating. It's very,
Yeah.
very, very interesting. I'm sure there are a lot other people who do what you do. You can't be the only 2 people in the United States doing this, okay? Obviously not. But I've never spoken with people who do this, and it's interesting that there is there's organization behind it. It's not something that you will do by the seat of your pants. You just thinking about it and let's do this, let's do that. From listening to the both of you speak, I see that it's methodical, it's a plan, and you've got to accomplish something in the writing. It's not, I was born in Middle Village, I went to school, I was liked by my friends.
Right.
No. You start, like I always like to say, you start at the end and work your way backwards. In other words, what do you want to accomplish?
Right.
Now you figure out how you're going to get there.
Right.
And that's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see with what you're doing, it's very sophisticated. It's very intelligent to be able to do this. So it's a good compliment that I feel that I'm paying the both of you to be able to do this. So it's terrific.
And we have the best interest of our clients
We do.
at hand
Well,
all the time.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe
All
that.
the time.
I
To
believe
make them
that.
look good.
I believe that. We're out of time. Leah Scotto Laub.
Pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Loria Parker.
Formerly Catherine.
Formerly Catherine. And say hi to your daddy.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I will.
Terrific. At some point in the future, will you come down again?
And we'll read, and we'll
And
read.
we can read, and we can
Yes,
talk, and
sure.
show examples of what it is that you do. and
Wonderful.
all
Befores
that.
and afters. How's
Yeah,
that?
that would be great. I really think that would have been of great interest for
Okay.
people to see the vast difference
Right.
between the two. Terrific.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And the
Thank
one
you.
thing you 2 ladies exhibit is the same thing I'm going to say to you in closing the show. That these wonderful ladies, whatever they do it with passion. So I'd like you to do the exact same thing. Otherwise, why do it? So Dr. Pass is saying, see you again next time, and think about what you're writing. Take care.